Good afternoon, or actually good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sex Stars Singapore. This is Rachel and Hunk Hands.
Hey, how's it going?
And today, instead of being static, we are going to walk around and talk about online dating, because it's okay to talk about online dating and walk around people. We've did something just recently.
Yeah, unlike most of our stuff. This is pretty mainstream.
When we did our BDSM one, people were just kind of looking at us as they walked past and they freaked out. So this one might be more appropriate for a walk. So we're enjoying an absolute beautiful evening here in Singapore. The sun is still shining and it's not too hot, even though we're about to go upstairs. So we're going to be discussing digital love and the new era of dating. It's something I'm very interested in because all my friends are doing it and I'm not. But how much it's changed over time.
Because you're in a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
But dating has changed so much since I was dating 2 years ago, and I never got to have the digital era. So I want to discuss the pros, the cons, the benefits, and has it gone too far? Well, I kind of think it has. Are we allowed to be the same person anymore? Are we relying too heavily on a picture? Oh, those days were hard work. Are we relying too heavily on a picture? Are we portraying ourselves as the right person? You know, expectations, they're really high.
Let's dig into it. What do you want to talk about first?
First thing is, actually, like I just said, has dating and connection gone too far that we've actually lost real connection? Because think about back in the day, you would call that person or you would message, actually you would call, you would see them every now and then, whereas now there's just so much different ways to connect.
Yeah. So
it's all different. The rules have changed.
Like there are different parts of dating. One is meeting somebody, which is more like Tinder, OkCupid, all these apps. They're like the new kind of way to meet people. And then you could also talk about the dating angle as far as once you've gone on a date, or you're thinking about going on a date, or you're maybe thinking about meeting up with somebody again. Like, how do you maintain a relationship before it's like official? That has also changed because now it's a lot of messaging.
Exactly. So I guess that's my whole thing. Has it gone too far? Because now you go on Tinder, or what's the one you said? OkCupid.
OkCupid, yep.
And you start a conversation which starts off based around your appearance and then text messaging.
Okay, yeah.
So by the time you actually meet each other, you don't even have those initial questions, which used to be you probably met them on the dance floor, or someone set you up, or someone walked past you and you got chatting and then you exchanged a number.
Okay.
And then you got to know the person properly on a date, whereas now you're kind of already asking those questions before you even go. So in your mind you're deciding, oh, he's a lawyer, boring, or he's an accountant, boring, or that sounds like a glorified janitor.
Yeah.
So you're already making those preconceived perceptions of that person.
I think it's kind of similar though to like going on Amazon.com.
Okay.
And like reading some serious reviews. I mean, not reviews don't. There's no good analogy in the dating scene, but like reading all the product descriptions and figuring out, okay, like what's the difference between this and this. You can sort of figure out what you like more versus just going into a supermarket and like looking at some random stuff, and like it's just like there's more data, there's more transparency about, well, not necessarily transparency, but you can at least know a little bit more about the person, I think, when you see them online versus just like randomly going out to a bar and like maybe you've had a couple drinks. So you can sort of like do some of the initial filtering, kind of get rid of people.
Save you some time, I guess.
Like, you're definitely going to filter out some people who you would probably have a good connection with. But, dating is a numbers game. I mean, and
a timing game. It's going to be the right time for both of you in the end for it to actually work out.
Yeah.
So...
So, like, sometimes, you just have to, like, stick with the strategy that works. Like, you are going to filter out some people who you probably have a good connection with, but just in the long term.
But you just saw their picture or what they do and how they responded to things, and you went, no, I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you my opinion.
Please.
I think online dating is pretty good. As far as if you don't want to go out a lot, if you don't want to like stay up at night, if you just have a couple minutes here and there, on your lunch break or something like that, you can actually meet new people who, in a lot of cases, you would never meet. I mean,
okay, this is very true.
like you were saying, you might filter people out because like, oh, that guy's a lawyer, boring.
Yeah.
But maybe you would never meet somebody who was like, I don't know, a tradesman. Maybe if he was like a plumber.
Yeah.
You know? Like you would never, like he would never enter your social circle, perhaps.
No, because plumbers get up early, so they're not out during the week.
Yeah, something like that.
Or they hang out with their mates after work and they have their drinks and they go home.
So you can meet a lot more people.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like I think I probably said it before. I'm very gutted I never got to play Tinder. I think I would have really liked it. But has the connection kind of been lost? Because you go out now, and back in the
I'm
day,
gonna switch hands.
it's okay, switch around. Back in the day, you kind of used to have some guts and some gumption to go and speak to a girl and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
So obviously this totally works for the introverted because they don't like to go and talk to people, and this is their way of actually being able to find someone, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah. My opinion is the quality is lower.
Yeah.
Online. I mean, like the quality of person you're going to meet, like the quality of girl a guy's going to meet, I think is lower. It's a little bit more in the middle.
Yeah.
For like online stuff. If you want to meet really high quality girls, I think you have to go out and figure out the skills of approaching girls, figuring out the skills of like, you know, making a good impression and like seducing her basically. You know,
like
getting her number. Yeah, the game.
Have you read the game?
I haven't actually.
Oh, okay. You haven't, or you want to?
Have not.
Okay, we have it in our bookshelf at home.
I've read a lot.
If you do want to
about
read it, you can.
I've read a lot about Pickup, but I've read like that guy's second book, Neil Strauss.
Okay, yeah, there was a second one because in the end, I think it comes out to how he met his wife and now they're married or something, or is it about his relationship and. Yeah, I haven't read either of them. It's clearly not targeted to me.
Yeah, I mean, I know about that guy's story.
Yeah.
And it's a journey. Like it's really difficult to be able to like overcome being shy, overcome the fear of rejection, to like just go up to some random girl and be like, "Hey, how are you? You're cute. Where are you going?"
Yeah.
Something like that, and make it be smooth, make it be natural, make her be charmed. Very hard.
Definitely.
I think in that process, you actually become a better man. You become more attractive, like in a real way.
Definitely.
Not just in sort of a tricky way.
Yeah, so, I totally agree. Hats off to men who actually get off their ass and come and speak to you because it's a huge thing.
Right.
And I remember my brother telling me once when, well, he still is single, but there was a point when he was going out and he was kind of like, oh, you know, it's hard. Like, you know, and I think us girls, we forget that it's far harder for men because we expect them to make this move. I remember him saying, like, his confidence boost came from a mate. He said, what's the worst she's going to do to you? Yeah. She's going to say no, and you're going to go, oh, well, no worries, have a good night.
Yeah.
And he put that mentality in, and now he's quite a confident young man because he thinks, oh, what's she going to say no to me? Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
We're not right for each other. Not the end of the world.
Imagining the worst case scenario is a good way to get over any kind of fear, you know? It's like, oh, there's a spider there. What's the worst case thing it's going to do? It's going to jump on me.
It's going to kill you?
It's going to bite me. It's probably not, like, poisonous. I mean, it's like, all right, I'll live. Just sort of put things in context.
So my next kind of thing was, are there benefits about things being online? And I think we've kind of already touched on that, is that for the introverted people, it works better for them. They now have an outlet. Or, you know, there are websites that aren't like Tinder, and they are very good for suggesting exactly what you're after. Now, you've got to put yourself out there. You say, I'm 31, I'm 22, I'm looking for love, so don't contact me if you want to shag.
Wow.
So they're really good. Actually, I've got a great love story. My stepbrother and his wife met online, and they are very happily married now, and they're about to have their first child, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
Like, because they were very upfront and honest on there, you know, 36, looking for love, looking for the right match.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that, though. I think a lot of girls, they feel like a little bit ashamed about being on Tinder. They might feel like, oh, this is a slutty thing to do.
I don't think girls are ashamed of being on Tinder.
I think some do. Yeah, because I think there are a lot of disclaimers that, like, you know, not interested in one night stands, no hookups.
Okay.
You see that a lot.
Okay.
Girls are very like what they want out of life and out of men in a relationship is very context based.
They also don't know what they want.
I mean, it could depend on the phase of their period, right? I mean, if they're just horny, they're in the mood for a one night stand. If they're like on their period,
this is a big enough microphone to hit you because you just said because it depends on what stage of their period. Oh my God,
that's a whole thing. That's a whole science thing. There's a whole there's a whole field of research about that.
Okay.
There is.
Cool.
Look,
I know there is. Like, I am a total moody bitch at certain times of the month. Totally.
It's not just about mood, though. It's about what sort of sex girls are interested in, which makes complete sense.
No,
I don't want to go on too far of a tangent, but basically, if you're ovulating, you want to try to get the best genes possible, and usually the best genes possible are not from the guy that you can tie down for a long-term relationship. Usually the best genes possible are from the guy who has so many options that you can never tie him down, aka the bad boy, which is why girls are more receptive to one-night stands when they're ovulating.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is awesome. I'm going to do a whole podcast on that. That sounds so interesting. That is, yeah, because there's so
Weird
many
shit,
cool
guys.
things that happen.
Weird shit, guys.
Well, look, I think there's great benefits of being online, both on and off. It's good for everyone. I just treat it nicely.
Yeah, I mean-
Again, I'm just devastated I never got to have a play.
Yeah, I've done a
Because to
lot.
me, it seems like a game. It doesn't seem like real dating to me.
I've done a lot of online dating, and after a while it gets boring because there are certain openers that work well.
Yeah.
And why would you deviate from something that works well to experiment? It's like basically I can send 50 messages to girls. Sorry, camera. All right. I can send like 50 messages to girls with like my standard opener, and I know I'll get a decent response rate.
What's your standard opener?
So
Because I've seen some ridiculous ones. Like, a lot of my friends, when they get it, they're like, oh, this guy's witty. Oh shit, I don't feel like being witty today. So they'll flick them to me and they'll go, can you just answer this for me? Answer it for me.
Okay, I will.
So I have to come up with some great answers for them.
For you guys who are watching this, you're about to get a pro tip. This is a well-tested opener. Well tested. I've tested commas, periods.
Oh
everything.
wow. Okay. You've done a lot of A/B testing on the first opening line.
Pretty much, yeah. Because it's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you fuck it up, it's over. You're 5 steps back, and then you're like supplicating, and then you're like, oh well, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You gotta get the tone right.
Yep.
So I use, hey, nice eyebrows, girl. No punctuation. Capital H.
I feel that a friend of mine and you have swiped on each other.
Could be. No,
So how do they respond to that?
usually it's like, I've never heard that comment before, or like, ha ha ha, that's funny, something like that.
Okay, I'd probably go, huh?
Yeah, sure. Anything is better than nothing.
This is true. I mean, I guess for people, like, the worst thing to say is, hi, how are you? Or like in our old day of like MSN and ICQ, hey, ASL. Or do you still use that?
I don't
Age,
know what
sex,
that means.
location?
Oh.
ASL? Oh, that was huge back in the day.
A girl would never reply to that.
No, I wouldn't either, but that's what we used to use.
Yeah.
So before this kind of online dating, there was MSN and ICQ, and that, I guess that is the whole, it's kind of maybe the blueprint of what has become, because that's what we used to use to connect with each other after telephones. So you'd go on there after school all the time, and like I made lots of male friends on there, and even had like a little date or two out of them. But that was like, so I guess I have online dated in a way.
Sure.
No, I wasn't putting myself out there, it was just by conversation. But yeah.
I mean, like, so we're talking about opening lines and stuff. The what you want to do is get off of the dating platform as soon as possible, because the girl is being inundated with stupid messages from guys.
Yeah,
Right.
you're not the only one. If she's talking to you, she's probably talking to other 10, right?
It's a billion distractions for the girl. You want to get her more in like a normal place to chat. So you want to get her number. You want to get her on WhatsApp or SMS or something like that as soon as possible.
That's a saying, isn't it? Oh, I've moved XYZ to WhatsApp. My girlfriends used to say that. Like, oh, how's it going? Oh, I moved 3 guys to WhatsApp this week.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big thing.
Yeah. Well, you want to do that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like within the first couple lines. That's like, you have specific goals when you do online dating. You know? It's like, all right, you're on Tinder, you've matched. Next step, get her number. Everything else is irrelevant. You just need to get the number, and then at that point you can, So there are very like tried and tested sort of strategies and like lines and shit that are good for that, and it just gets boring.
Yeah.
So if you just want to like have sex with a lot of people, I think online dating is great. If you want to meet people, like, yeah, you can do it. But I think if you want to sort of like grow as a, like, this is from the male perspective, but if you want to like become a better man and like actually learn some skills that are useful in other areas, confidence and stuff like that, I think you've got to sort of man up and like go out and approach people the hard way and do the hard thing.
Yeah, which really shouldn't be hard, but it is.
It is hard.
And the thing is,
so hard.
It's just as hard, like, girls would never do it, and there's so much pressure on men to do it. That's the problem. And girls out there, honestly, you should be kind. If a guy has the balls to come and speak to you, don't brush him off with that, whatever. Be like, thank you so much. That's such a compliment. However, I'm seeing somebody.
Nah.
Or
that's what girls do. That's what girls do.
I know, but you know, be polite. What's wrong with having a 10-second, 1-minute conversation with someone you don't know? He may not be the guy of your dreams. You might be in a relationship, but you also might make a friend hey, you could be networking.
Fuck that.
You could make a great connection.
I don't want a friend. I
You're
would say,
friend zone.
I would say,
no
like, girls,
zone.
if a guy comes up to you and he's not doing it right, like, shut his ass down, and he'll learn. He'll learn. That's how you learn.
Be polite.
Yeah, you're gonna give him mixed signals.
Oh, sorry.
I would say, like, just tell him what you actually feel. Like, that was really, like,
okay,
not
be helpful.
Cool.
No, fair enough. So did you ever have back in the day a little black book?
No.
Oh, really? Was that a thing?
What's that?
Did you ever have a thing? Like, people just knew that's what it was? Okay, so when I was 16, so yeah, a long time ago, back before mobile phones and all these sorts of things, you used to have a book where you kept an address book.
Okay.
And guys used to have this thing called a little black book.
Okay.
And a man used to keep a little black book and it had girls' numbers in it and like things about that girl.
Okay.
You never had that?
So it was like the early version of an Excel spreadsheet.
I guess.
Something like that.
But I remember at this, it was called Euphoria. Oh my gosh. It was called Euphoria and it was like an underage disco. And
Nice.
I remember my friend had hooked up with this guy, you know, periodically throughout the night. And in the end, it was like, you know, it was 10:30, time to go. Mum and Dad's going to pick you up.
Right.
I'm sure it was probably like midnight. And he pulls out the black book.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Uh-huh.
Like it was still going good and strong then. But you haven't had a little black book. I think there's even a movie made out of it.
Okay. So this was recently. He still used a book.
No, this was 16.
Oh, this is back in the
This
day.
is back in the day. I'm sure they still have it now.
Because it's like you didn't have phones and you didn't have
Nope.
like the contacts app.
No, you had to give a house number.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So if, you know, meeting a girl and talking to her wasn't bad enough, you then had to make the phone call. And we still lived at home back then. So you may have had to spoken to the mother or the father to get through.
Well, this is back in the dark ages. Luckily, those days are past.
Yeah,
Now you can just
but-
text her directly. And,
But you're losing the communication again just by the text. I remember being in relationships where it was, you know, you would see each other every couple of days.
If you don't
but-
like text, go ahead and delete your Messenger app or don't use it. I mean, like, I love texting. I mean, why not? It's so convenient. It's asynchronous. I love it.
I think it's
you
lazy.
text all the time.
I know, but it's totally different. It would be nice for the phone call. Like, okay, so a girlfriend came here and one of the nights I couldn't see her, so she went on Tinder to kind of find a bit of a date.
Yeah.
And the guy that won at the end, because this girl was a very, very attractive girl, was the guy who, because she said, I'm only here for a couple of days, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, great, what's your number? Oh, I don't have a normal number. He goes, oh, give me the number where you're staying, because she was staying in a hotel. And he called her.
Well,
and he was
yeah,
like, hey.
If it's a hotel, what else is he going to do?
Well,
can't text the
couldn't.
hotel.
Well, he couldn't. No, he couldn't call her because her number was an Australian number, and we're in Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
So he called her hotel, and that won her over because he had the confidence to call her.
Mm-hmm.
So hashtag winning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if a girl gives you a hotel number, you obviously have to call it. You can't like leave a note with the butler, and he's going to bring it up to the room. You know.
How
It's like,
romantic
print it out.
would that be?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. There's romantic, and then there's like efficient, and like not wasting your time on random girls you've never met. So, but like what I used to do is get somebody's number, and I would call them as soon as possible because I felt like I was better on the phone than texting.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a lot of noise. Texting, there's a lot of guys just sending random messages. If you do something a little unusual and you hop on the phone, you usually have a
And
better chance of making an impression. You know.
You also get on with it quicker. God,
Yeah.
the amount of times like us girls have sat around with a girl who's texting a guy, and it's like, what should I say? Like, I haven't responded to it yet. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway,
But
I'm
it
going
can-
to get. Oh,
but
sorry.
it can seem needy. It can seem needy if you call a girl right away and she like doesn't answer, and then you're like,
yeah, that's awkward.
I just wanted to talk to you because I'm a loser. Right?
I just missed you already.
So yeah, it's
That'd be
a little
nice.
volatile, but if you can get her on the phone, I think it's a good idea.
I agree. So I'm going to ask a bit of a question because we actually had a couple of questions come through on our Facebook Messenger,
Yep.
which has been quite nice. Some of them are a little bit inappropriate. That's fine. We seed through everything. But this one was, I really want to meet more people and socialise. I'm finding this very hard with all online options. What tips do you have for actually meeting someone face to face? So I kind of think we covered this before. I think just go up there and be yourself and say hello.
Is this the guy who asked the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So any guys that have been contacting us.
Gotcha. It's true. It's true.
I think you just have to I think the good old approach of going up and saying hello.
Yeah. So two categories. You've got day game and you've got night game. So night game is going to be clubs. Day game is going to be not necessarily during the day, but sort of it's basically high energy or low energy sort of environment. High stimulus, low stimulus. So if you go up to a girl at a Starbucks at 11 p.m., that's sort of day game. It's low energy. You can just go up to her and sort of talk a little more casually and stuff like that. If you're at a nightclub, very different sort of environment. I know very little about that, so I can't really tell you much about it. But you got to sort of pick.
Nightclub, that's my thing from back in the day.
All right, cool. So you got to kind of like as a guy, you got to pick. Probably pick where you think you're going to be strongest, and then go for that. If you want to do day game, you got to just make some time, during the week to walk around.
Compliment.
One good way
I think it's a huge way. So a couple of times it's been very nice here. I've actually had young gentlemen come up to me and go, "Hi, you look really nice today." I'm like, and I of course blush like, "It's so nice of you." And then they're like, "Hi, my name is blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh, hi, I'm Rachel." Then they just start having this conversation. Then I'm like, I can't talk to you. Well, I can talk to you, but I'm like, I can talk to you, but I was like, oh, this is inappropriate. I'm kind of, secretly I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
But it's so nice. And if I was single, like that would totally impress me. So I think
you got to find the right location is one thing. So you're like, all right, I want to do it during the day. I've heard, like, I knew a guy who was a dating coach. Which, he basically brought guys out to do exactly this.
Yeah.
He said Marina Bay Sands was good.
Okay.
There's a lot of like sort of tourists and people who are sort of out and about. They're not really like going from one place to another that much. They're sort of like strolling. Strolling is good if a girl doesn't have to like run off to somewhere. She has some time. That's great. And it's different things you can do. So like just to give you some quick tips, right? There's a lot of stuff on the internet about this. But
clearly you've been reading all about it.
Oh yeah. You want to either get her number, or you want to go on a date with her, like an instant date, like, hey, let's just go grab a coffee right now, or let's get a smoothie, or there's this cool ice cream place right over here, and then get her number. You could also like try to sleep with her that day. That's hard. That's advanced shit. Don't even probably worry about that because it'll probably mess you up psychologically. Just get her number, but you want to spend as much time with her as possible, and you want to move her to as many locations as possible. So it's not like, oh, it's just this guy that I met on the road. It's like, it's this guy that I met here, and then we did this, and then we did that, and then we did that. And that could just be all like within 20 minutes. But the more stuff you've done with her and the more places you've gone, it seems like you have done more. So it's sort of like having like 3 dates in one. If you bring her like, here's this ice cream place, and like, oh, there's this really cool statue over here. Do you like Dolly? Like, there's this awesome like Dolly like statue. I'll like bring you right over there. And then like, hey, quick, I need to like go over here. Like before, something like that. Something like that.
That's very awesome.
Yeah.
That is really good advice.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I hope you listen to that. I think just listen to whatever Hunk says. Because I'm a little bit slow at it. I'm not very good. Anyway, we're going to finish up with some fast facts as the sun is starting to set. So we should look lovely. So, first fast fact, online daters have a better chance of meeting their online match, although most people still bond offline.
Versus who?
This is what it says. Online daters have a better chance of meeting their match online, but they have a better
of getting into
you
a
now have a big
relationship.
you now have a better chance to meet your match, but most people still find all of their bonding happens offline.
Yeah.
Duh. I think that must relate to people who actually have full-on online relationships, where they email each other and it's this completely online affair. Well, it's not really an affair, but it's an affair. It's a real affair.
Yeah.
Affair.
A lot of times they have seen each other before.
Yeah, they've never seen,
and then they keep it going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's sort of like sad. It's sort of like I have so few options that I need to do this long distance 2-year relationship, in my opinion. I think there's always people around you who you can connect with.
I think
if you have this like scarcity mentality, like this is the one, oh my god, I can't let him go, versus like I could probably walk down the road and meet somebody that I think is cool.
Do you know, once I was on this flight and I wasn't working, I was traveling home, and it was great. I had a big 4 seats to myself, and then I had a lady who was quite plump.
Fat.
She was big. She was really big. She had to have the she was so big, the seat between her like had to be lifted. Like God knows if she was on a full flight.
Yeah.
Anyway,
she was plump. All right.
She was big.
Anyway.
So I was having a chat to her, and she was like, "Oh, I just came from visiting my boyfriend." And so we had a chat about a boyfriend, and I actually worked out they had been online dating for 2 years, and they just met each other for the first time, and she'd just spent a month there. And then it was so, it ended up being so good that he's actually he was planning to give up his job and then move to Australia with her. So it can happen, and like for a plump person, you know,
Or
that
she-
might have been her only option because she was always judged by the way she looks.
Or she just wasted she could have wasted 2 years of her life.
She totally could have.
So, I mean, as a strategy, I would say don't.
Don't
spend
know.
a lot of
I
time.
agree. Don't do that.
It's like, yeah,
But
sure.
she got
like,
so lucky. I think it's a really nice story. Like they fell in love with each other for their intellectual
maybe.
connection, not the physical. But I'm probably sure they had great physical love too. Anyway, 81% of people lie about their height, weight, or age on dating
I
profiles.
Photoshop my images online.
Do you?
Yeah, get rid of some blemishes. Stuff like
Of
that.
course, yeah. Well, now no one's photo looks like they really do anyway. Let's be honest. Everyone does a bit of smoothing, teeth whitening, hair straightening, whatever.
I do a little like kind of unfocus the background a little bit to sort of like, you know, focus the
Mm-hmm. Wow.
attention on whatever I want to, you know.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a detriment to everyone because at the end of the day, you're expecting to see this hot chick or this hot dude, and you get there and you're like, ooh, you're such a better looking person in, you know, pictures.
I've met up with some people who I wasn't even polite about it. I was like I pulled up their profile, I was like, you don't look like that. Like, sorry, and then I just walked off.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
I mean, but they were fucking
Is that
with me. They were
because-
wasting my time.
Is that because like they had the stupid like things in their eyes, those big pupil things that the girls have here, and the hair that doesn't match their actual skin tone, and they had too much makeup in their picture?
It's usually
and-
like they've gained, you know, like 40 pounds.
or it's
since
like
they
the one
took
that's just their
photo or
face, so they look really skinny, but really like they're a plump.
I mean, if somebody just takes a photo with a good angle, like you
Oh,
can't,
definitely.
You can't fault them for that. Everybody
Yeah.
should be doing that.
Yeah.
But if somebody like, you know, actually has like 40 pounds more on their body than in the photo, it's like, you know.
Hey, she could have been a nice person.
I mean, I doubt it, right? I mean, if somebody starts off an interaction that way, it's probably
yeah, no, it's
downhill
wrong.
from there.
Yeah, it's very true.
And it's fraudulent, basically. Not like fraudulent in like the legal sense, but just, you know, it's not honest.
You're not. Yeah, this is true. So the last one is race and class are the most important factors to online daters. Wow. What about religion? But that's not a fact.
So
but
what is it?
Race and class are the most important factors to online daters.
And
So I guess,
class.
yeah, class system.
Classy.
So basically,
How
look, I
classy
drive a
are you?
Ferrari. No, I think it's like I drive a Ferrari and look at me with my like $10,000 watch. Like a girl would look at him and go, he's poor, so I'm not interested, and vice versa.
Okay.
So I think that's what it is. But anyway, that is.
I'll give you
got
guys
one more.
One more tip.
Okay.
Is there's two different two different things that OkCupid looked at as far as profile pictures.
Yeah.
One was smiling. One was, are you looking at the camera or away from the camera? And then the other one was sex. So they
Yeah.
broke it up by women and men. So for men, the profile pictures that were most likely to get like clicked on or get a message reply or something like that was if you were not smiling and you were not looking at the camera. For women, it was the exact opposite, was smiling, looking at the camera. So
Okay.
if you're a guy trying to like put your profile together, you know, don't be super smiley in your photos. Actually, you want to be sort of that mysterious kind of guy who, you know, and you know, like maybe I think another thing is if you're looking right at the camera, the girl might kind of feel like, oh, you know, like,
Yeah.
like, you know, girls don't like to look at a guy like in real life, right? I mean, you don't like to make eye contact with
Yeah,
somebody.
okay, I understand.
You know,
yeah.
if the guy's looking right at you, if
Yeah.
he's sort of like, if he's not looking at you, you can kind of check him out. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
If he's like, you know, looking at his drink or something, you can kind of check him out, right? So I think you want to be that guy who's not looking at the camera, not smiling, and then she can kind of check you out. You look mysterious, and then she'll be more likely to match with you.
There you go.
Boom.
Awesome. All right, well, have a beautiful evening, guys.
Photoshop your
Photoshop your pictures.
and don't smile.
And
Be
get
an
out,
asshole.
get out there and start meeting people normally again. Why not? Hunk's giving you some great tips. Good night.